In this episode of Code Savvy Presents, you'll be hearing from some of the students who have participated in the Technovation Girls Challenge. So the reason why we do this work is that we need far more code savvy folks here in Minnesota. Here are some of the numbers of the average jobs that are open each month. You can see they have very high salaries of $92,000 on average, and we only have 1,500 graduates in computer science degree programs as of 2019. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. There are also, according to MinTech, about 81,000 tech jobs that will need to be filled in Minnesota over the next 10 years. This gap is getting wider and wider due to a lack of local talent that is skilled enough for those positions. So we are at an impasse where we truly need to train everyone with computational and tech skills in order to meet the needs of our future talent demands. Currently, only 25% of our Minnesota tech workers are women, and so that gap is even larger in that arena, particularly when you add in other demographics that are traditionally underrepresented in tech. So our Technovation Girls program exists in order to help bridge that gap and get more women into technology careers and entrepreneurship. So the girls form teams. They then build either a mobile app or an AI technology in order to address a problem that they have identified in the community. The Technovation Girls Challenge is a global competition, but we run a Minnesota-based version here every year. And the girls come up with the idea. They work with mentors to then build, design, and pitch those apps to local judges here in the state. Some of the benefits that they get from that is hands-on experience in both app and AI development. They're solving real-world problems. They're building their leadership, teamwork, and entrepreneurship skills. And it encourages them to take future career and startup pathways into technology in the future. So in this episode, you're going to hear from some of the girls themselves. The first team that you're going to hear from is a team called H2 Awesome, and they built an app this season called Enviro. So listen to their pitch. They're on their way to California for the finals, and we wish them all the luck, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
Do you eat, drink, or breathe? Well, if you say yes to any of those, then you are consuming at least half a pound of microplastics every single year, or 40 pounds in a lifetime. Microplastics absorb toxic chemicals like PFAS that can lead to cancer and other serious health issues. Microplastics are often found in everyday products like sunscreen, laundry detergent, and clothing. If we don't do anything about this serious problem, the numbers will only increase.
We conducted a survey to see how large our market is and how many people knew about microplastics. It was a success, and we received 92 responses ranging from elementary schoolers to parents. Some key takeaways from our survey are that 3 out of the 4 respondents didn't know what microplastics were, and 92% didn't know how to identify microplastics in the products they buy.
The coolest feature on our app is the barcode scanner. And the user can scan the product, and Enviro will filter through our database to find a UPC barcode match. At first, we wanted to use an API, but we could not find any that satisfied our needs. This is why we decided to make our own database.
According to our survey, many respondents wanted to know if their clothing had microplastics. Enviro can identify over 30 different microplastics in clothing.
Additionally, Enviro has a game. Users can learn more about common microplastics while having a fun and educational time. Also, this motivates the user to continue using our app.
Once the users finish playing the game, they can go to the shop and buy cute clothes for their pet turtle. Fun fact, all of our characters are hand-drawn and designed by us.
Currently, there are only 2 main apps that work to tackle the issue of microplastics. However, these apps only focus on microplastics in cosmetics and personal care. We focus on cosmetics, personal care, clothing, and laundry detergent. In fact, laundry detergent clothing is one of the worst producers of these microplastics, which makes it super critical to solving the problem.
In the future, we hope to have a feature where Enviro can recommend alternative products that don't contain microplastics, and have a feature where AI can calculate how many microplastics would be released into the environment if a user were to purchase this product.
Some challenges that they had to do is make a massive database with over 50 UBC barcodes, product names, and had to become experts on identifying which products and clothing contain microplastics.
We see Enviro becoming a household name in making the best shopping decisions and helping our earth and people.
Get rid of the screen share.
Very nice. So can the two of you tell me a little bit about finals? Like how is that coming along? Are you excited to go to California? Like how are you feeling about it?
I am definitely excited, and it is definitely like amazing that we've reached so far.
How about you, Leah? Are you excited?
Yes, I think it's definitely a once in a lifetime opportunity to be going to California for a tech competition.
What are you most excited about? What are you really looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to just like presenting and like making everyone like aware about like our app, and yeah.
Nice.
I'm not sure we're going to be doing so much.
It seems like it is a jam-packed week for you all. So I'm very excited to hear more about how it goes, and just to see how you do. We'll be watching from here in Minnesota, just cheering you on. So thank you for doing your pitch, and thank you for doing such a great job this season. And like I said, I'm excited for you to get to the finals and present. So we're going to turn things over now to a couple of other, we're going to bring in a couple more participants to have a discussion with us. We have Jasmine and Ava, who are both also Technovation participants who have done this program. So let me change our scene here. Here we go. Ava, I don't know if you can pop on to your video or not. There we go.
Hello.
Hi. So I'm just going to go, we've already met Isabella and Leah a little bit, but I'm going to have all of you actually, if you would, just give your name and maybe how many years you've done Technovation. So just as a short little introduction. So let's start with our beginner team, because I think, I don't know, Isabella and Leah, was this your first year doing Technovation? Nope.
It's my first year.
Leah's first year. Okay. How about you, Isabella? How many years has this been?
I think it was like my second year.
Okay. All right. How about Jasmine?
This is my first year being a part of
First year.
Technovation. Yes.
Okay. And Ava?
This will be my 4th year competing and my 2nd year as a student ambassador.
Awesome. Awesome. So we should tell people a little bit the student ambassador role. That is something, actually, if you want to talk about what your experience has been like with that.
Yeah, sure. It's basically, a way to for kids to help, get other younger girls interested in this and continue promoting the project or the Technovation, as well as helping kids throughout the whole way. And yeah, it's really cool. We get to meet with people all over the world and just kind of talk about what we're doing and how we are promoting Technovation for everyone.
Nice. Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about some of the apps that you've developed. So, some of you, this is your first year. We just heard the pitch for Enviro. How about some other apps that you all have developed? Like, is there any ideas you want to throw out there that you've done?
Yeah. So this year for Technovation, I made an app called Hope. This app works to connect volunteers and refugees with resources, creating kind of a network per se between the two groups. It offers services for, donations for like food, clothing, or toys. And it connects these refugees together through community events and aims to offer delivery services too. So basically, giving and translation services. So giving these incoming refugees all the resources that they need, and then providing them with a very supportive volunteer base that can help them reach these needs.
That's amazing. How about you, Ava? And you can either talk about what you did this last year or a different year, since you've done it a few times.
Yeah, this most recent year, we made an app called Hub Helper. And this app was different from ones we had done in the past, as it was specifically geared towards a specific nonprofit and their needs in the community. So our app was made to help more students access their tech hubs, which basically are technology hubs they have in a couple locations throughout Minnesota, meant to help more underprivileged kids get access to technology that they might not have in their schools or at home. So our app was meant to help kids both gain access to the tech hubs as well as sign up and participate in the different programs they offer.
Nice.
And yeah, we worked one-on-one with them throughout the season to create an app specifically tailored to what they needed. Yeah.
I'm curious how different it might have been for you this year versus years in the past, where you've kind of come up with your own ideas versus, this year, essentially you worked with a client to create a scope and go through that route. So can you talk a little bit about what that difference was like in this season?
Yeah, it was definitely a very different experience than kind of what we had done in the past. We ended up having to find a new program to code on as well and kind of learn a whole different coding language, which took a while, but we kind of got the hang of it. And then it also was kind of just a lot of double checking your work with them, kind of getting their opinion on what their needs were, and then figuring out how to incorporate that in to our design. And I kind of expected it, well, originally when we got into it, I expected it to kind of take a lot of, I guess, the creativity out of the process. But I found it really didn't. We still had a lot of creative freedom over things. It was just figuring out how to work their needs into an app in the best way possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's really a great experience of really listening to the user and figuring out what their needs are so you can help them solve that problem, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, nice job with that too. And I was super impressed that you kind of on the fly learned a whole new programming language to get it done. So that's kudos to you for doing things that people in business have some problems doing sometimes.
Yeah, it was a lot of YouTube tutorials.
Yes, I bet. So what were, I'm going to throw this question over to our Enviro app inventors. Can you tell me about some of the challenges that you encountered in creating your app this year?
So a lot of we had to like make a massive database with over 50 VC codes and product names, and we just had to learn a lot about microplastics to like make that database, and like
Yeah.
we like split up the work like um and had to like search up products and if they had microplastics in them. So that was like challenging because first we needed to find the products and like then we needed to like find out which microplastics were in them and if those are even microplastics. And it
So you're like
a lot of
figuring
things.
out how to categorize things and how to manage all that data, right? Like that's a huge project.
Yeah.
How about you, Jasmine? What were some of the challenges that you had this season, kind of trying to develop your app?
Yeah, so this was kind of like the second app I built, so I still was very new with Swift, so just getting used to a totally different language. I was very much so used to like Java and Python. So Swift is just way different with the UI elements involved. So getting used to that, and then there were a lot of just like having to learn about like databases in the background and getting permission to do that. Honestly, like even with just like the technology I had provided and just learning about all these different features. And since I was the only person on my team, I had to reach out to teachers in my school and kind of find time to meet with them and work through my app and hopefully, you know, like help me either troubleshoot or think of ways to navigate around an issue. So a lot of that like individual work and having to really take initiative was one of the challenges I faced. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard enough to do it with a team of people, but when you're the only one, that gets even rougher. So congratulations on doing such a good job with that.
Thank you.
Let's see, Ava, how has participating in the program and as an ambassador kind of impacted your interest in tech or in entrepreneurship? Has it changed how you feel about those things at all?
Yeah, I would say for me, it definitely changed them a lot. I kind of related to a lot of what you guys were saying in the presentation, whereas you get into that upper elementary school, middle school kind of time, technology gets to be like a little weird or not as cool anymore. But I found being able to connect with other girls who shared similar interests, as well as being able to see the like women in the industry who are like currently working on it. It helped me a lot gain, I guess, confidence in myself and where I could go. And definitely increase, it made me like see a lot more of the creative side of coding, where it's not just like plugging numbers into a computer. Yeah, and it definitely helped me get much more interested in technology and computer science as a whole.
Awesome. How about for our beginner team? Is there anything that changed for you and your kind of ideas around tech or by doing the Technovation Challenge? Are you feeling different about it at all? How about Leah? I'm going to pick on you for a second.
Well, at first I did think it was only gonna go like one or two challenges, but now we're going to the World Summit in California.
Right?
I
Isabella, has it changed your opinions about technology at all?
I definitely agree with Leah. I didn't know that we could even come this far because like originally this app was just like I was like, I don't know, is it like really that good? And then it was like we added more to it and then like it was like boom, we're already here. So like that was definitely a surprise and changed my view of the app.
Awesome. So it made you realize that your project was a bigger deal than you thought it might be. Yeah. How about you, Jasmine? Has it changed your attitude at all about technology or changed maybe your ideas about entrepreneurship at all?
Yeah, I would say I've been very passionate and curious about just technology in general. But having the opportunity to kind of really hone in on a project specifically and creating a minimum viable product and then creating an app that actually functions, it really, I think, solidified my goal of pursuing a career in technology and specifically, also the business aspect of it. Because I think something very
Yeah.
cool about Technovation is creating that business plan, which just really added like another dimension to the project overall. And I just kind of really just fostered a love for both sides of it. And I am 100% want to continue this and this business and technology. So it just really solidified my aspirations and reasoning for going into the field.
That's awesome. That's really good to hear. So I know all of you you worked on this certain app this year. Do you have any future plans for your app? Like any additional goals that have come up or things that you want to continue building on? Can you talk a little bit about what, iterations look like coming up for your projects, if there are any? I'll throw it out to anybody.
Yeah, I can go for this one. We are still in the process of getting our app published, and we hope to make it functional within Smart North and the tech hubs, as well as just, continuing updating it to best fit their needs and help out the kids as much as we can. But we've also talked about a bit in the past, kind of bringing back some of our past apps that we started in Technovation, and trying to get those up and running and publishing those as well.
Just you could have a whole suite of apps on the store. you'd be producing all sorts of goodness. How about you all? Any iterations that you're thinking of already?
Yeah, I'm looking to continue expanding on my app. I definitely want to add potentially kind of look into the AI aspect of it. I have a feature on my app that kind of looks at translation, and that would be connecting you with a volunteer to help you with that translation. But I think adding a next level to the app would be making it more AI based, and being able to kind of real-time translate either like signs or documents or paperwork. So kind of, I feel like that would get me to the next level and kind of really dig into AI. It's such a hot topic right now. So just really getting to explore with that and having a new reason to continue working on my app. I think that's definitely like the path I want to take.
That would be awesome. Yeah. And it's such a good, it's getting to be such a robust technology that's so accessible. It'll be easier and easier for us to put AI in our applications as we go. How about you ladies? I know you've been swirling with kind of presenting about your app and talking about it so much, but are there any ideas that you might have for things that you'd want to do next or like add to it?
Yes. Two things that we want to add is definitely like using AI in our app to see how much microplastics would be added to the environment if the user were to purchase the product, so that they'd be aware of oh my gosh, this is how much they're going to be produced. And another one is if your scanner product has microplastics, then they'll give them alternative products so that they know what to buy next and something similar to that, so that they can have a.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And they could also, that could be a way that you could monetize your app too, right? You could have brands pay you to advertise their microplastic free goods in your store. just throwing that idea out there. So we did get a question on our chat for you all. Emily is wondering, for all of you, are there any areas of tech that you haven't yet explored or learned about yet that you're hoping to work with more? Or are there any kinds of tech you are hoping to start using? So maybe what's next on your tech in exploration?
I can take this one, just starting us off. Kind of like I mentioned, for sure, like that AI aspect, but I think also digging deeper into real-time databases. So things like Firebase, I really want to dig deeper into that because I think it's such like a real world application. And just having experience, what I think is so great about Technovation is that it gives us freedom to kind of explore these different types of technology and incorporate it into our apps. So I'm really excited to hopefully, maybe next year's Technovation competition kind of dig deeper into that and see how I can implement that into an app. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm really excited to kind of explore.
Nice. Anybody else have a
Um,
tech plan?
yeah, I would say a very similar thing. We're looking to, oops, sorry about that. All right, we're
No,
looking
you're
to,
still here.
oh, okay. Getting deeper into like database systems, figuring out how to, best store and use information in different ways, as well as we've talked about kind of along with Smart North, looking at some different ways to incorporate VR as well as AI into the app. And yeah, just kind of exploring what other forms of technology we can implement.
Nice.
Help them out.
How about you ladies? Anything that you are excited about digging into deeper or finding out more information about in the tech space?
Well, I'm a little more interested in adding more AI to the app if we can.
Yeah.
I agree. I also really want to add some more AI because I feel like that's the most like exciting part of the app. It's
Yeah.
like that's like what everyone wants to see, I think.
It's a very hot topic right now. It's very buzzworthy, which I mean, it's earned it, right? There's people doing incredible things with AI and VR. To your point, Eva, there's some really exciting things happening in kind of the web VR space. There's a local company called REM5 that has a really cool experience now online. It's a metaverse experience that you don't have to have any kind of goggles or anything for. It's all in the browser. So there's some really cool stuff that's happening, and AI is just making that stuff more and more accessible every day. So it's cool. So my final question for you all is just if you're planning on participating again in the Technovation Challenge this upcoming season.
Yes.
Yes,
Definitely.
good.
It was really fun and definitely did a boost on my confidence.
Awesome.
It was also like really fun and like it was very like it taught me that tech can like make a difference and like coding can make a difference.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree with Isabella. This was so fun, and I would love to do this again.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could get to the global finals again with your next app? Yes, I love it.
Bye.
How about you, Jasmine, Eva? Are you planning on doing the challenge again this year?
Yeah, I definitely am. I've been doing it for several years now. And I just really love it. Along with like me and my team, we've just found great ways to work together, work with people in our community. And yeah, it's just a really fun program that I'm definitely excited to do for as long as I can.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I definitely want to participate again next year. I feel like Technovation has given me an excuse to kind of really dig deep into app development, which has been something on my radar for a long time. And it helps me put aside with the timelines to put aside time to really work on that app, and it motivates me to continue just exploring technology and coding and just keep learning every single day. So I'm already super excited brainstorming apps for next season, and I can't wait to get into it.
Hey, that's awesome. We do have another question from our viewers here. This is another question for everybody. How do you view the future of AI? They said there are so many millennial plus generations that are cautious of the AI future, but I'm curious what the young generation thinks. So how do you feel about the future of AI? Are you excited? Is it scary? Like, what are you thinking?
I would probably say a little bit of both. I think it's definitely something I'm excited to get more into and to see what kind of good it can do. But I would say it can be a little nerve-wracking knowing that there are also some not so good implications of it. But I think as long as it's used in proper ways, it could be a really great tool.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat kind of. I am super excited with all the amazing things that people are learning how to do with AI and how we can really help our society as a whole with AI and streamline processes. I think it's great that we're kind of at a pivotal moment in a lot of schools, especially to kind of view AI not as an enemy, but as a helper in the process of, let's say, just like, editing papers or just throwing out ideas in a ethical way, of course. And I think, I don't know, I'm really excited even even though that there are those negative implications. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how we adapt with that and just the whole realm of AI ethics. I'm truly excited. And I think that's definitely something I'm really following along with and, researching about, and just truly fascinating. Just both sides of the conversation and how we're going to adapt as a society together with this new technology.
Yeah, 100% agreed. It's exciting. So, Leah, Isabella, is there any perspective that you have on AI that you want to share?
I think it can be good to a certain point, but like turn it into robots or anything.
Yeah, I agree with Leah. I think it would be good to a certain point, but sometimes it takes the extreme side.
Yeah, that's true. And as with anything, it can be used for good or bad. So we have to focus on teaching people how to use it for good and how to kind of address those bias issues that can be cooked in to the system. Let's see, we have a couple more questions if you're all up for it. Wondering what causes you care about. So, part of the Technovation Challenge is that you're solving some kind of community issue or some kind of community problem. So what are the causes that you're passionate about and that kind of move you to try to help solve problems about?
Yeah, I can start on this one. I'd say one of the big causes that I've centered a lot of my apps around is like equality within education, whether that be helping more underprivileged kids, like in our Hub Helpers app, or focusing on learning disabilities and just increasing kids like enjoyment of reading and accessibility to ways to help them learn if they can't learn in as traditional of learning environments. And I'd say that's just a really big thing I focused on, is trying to help the kids who maybe don't receive as much help in schools and could be reaching, I guess, like more, like they could be going further than they believe they can, and like increasing their confidence in themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think AI will help with all of that immensely.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
So we try to help.
Well, try to do what? Sorry.
We are trying. Never mind.
I'm assuming that your app was kind of environmental, right? Like your cause was kind of environmental this time, this go around, like, and health, right? You're trying to help people be more healthy and like less impact on the environment.
Yeah, we're trying to make people like aware of like the cause that they can do, like they can get like cancer and like serious health issues.
Right.
We want to make people aware about like what they need to buy and aware of like the problem in general so that like they can help our earth not be polluted.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are really noble missions that you have. How about
Yeah.
you, Jasmine?
I've been really focusing on just improving the standard of living overall. So this year I was looking at how can we improve the standard of living for refugees coming into a new country, because I definitely saw a problem with that and just the efficiency of that. And then a previous app I made was specifically looking at AI and recycling. So just kind of improving the standard of living through the environment. And I think I really want to start looking into improving the standard of living through like health, and just continuing on that topic and just seeing how much of a difference I can make through apps, and just really push that limit to hopefully create just a better earth for and as anyone who I can, and just offer these services.
Yeah, that's amazing. And technology is such a great lever for that. Like it's such a great fulcrum to be able to lean on and help solve massive problems at scale, right? Because we can use the technology to help us do that. So there's one last question here that is kind of more about like the user feedback and like testing. Wondering like how you got users to know about your app and use it and test it with you. So can anybody talk about that process? Like how did you have people test out your app and how did you have them give you feedback on your projects?
So one way that we got feedback on our project is we surveyed our classmates and people in our community. So like our family, different schools, and our school, obviously.
Yeah.
And it all came back to us and like they were kind of just answering some questions, and that's mainly how we got our recommendations to that.
Nice. Anybody have any different approaches?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. One thing we took advantage of quite a bit, especially in the first couple of apps we made, was using social media to get responses. We would create Instagram pages and then use things like hashtags, followers, getting people to kind of give us little shout outs here and there to reach our target audience. That way we could get the best feedback possible. And we found that was a great way to survey people. We actually ended up getting several hundred responses for one of our apps.
Nice.
And yeah, overall, it was a really great way to connect with the community and reach our target audience all over the world, as that's where we were trying to, put our app out to.
Great idea.
Yeah, I kind of use, basically what both teams have talked about, kind of leveraging, just being aware of my target market. And with that, I know with this app, it was specifically, most of them used like Facebook. So kind of, while most, I would say Gen Z kind of steer away from these older platforms, I think I really wanted to take advantage of that because I knew that's where my target market was, and just trying to get involved in communities in groups on Facebook and reaching out and asking if they could share my message and offer feedback in what they're just personal experiences and stories, and how I can adapt my app based on real life experiences.
Cool. Can I tell you all a funny story about how I got people to use my app one time? So for testing, I sat outside the state fair and I played music and handed out QR codes so that they would download my app and test it. It worked pretty well. We got lots of feedback. So there are no shortage of ways that you can try to get people to engage with your product and test it out for you. But it's super important to do that. So that sparks one other question that I have. How did you go about doing user like research? Like how did you identify who your audience was, and how did you think about who those kind of target market? Can you talk a little bit about that process? Anybody?
Yeah, I can kind of go into that, kind of leading on from what I was saying. It's strictly just because of the communities that I was just aware of already. I just kind of, I mean, with Facebook, it's pretty easy to kind of find a group for almost anything. So,
Yes.
you kind of just type in what you want in the search bar. And I just was able to find a lot of Facebook groups that kind of, I think, fit what I believed to be the target market. And when it didn't, I would just shift and adjust, and then find areas that if I was missing some sort of feedback for something or data, then I would go find and adjust my searches to find the groups that I needed. So I think that searchability of groups of people that are already collected into one group kind of really helped this process and reaching the people that I needed.
Yeah, that's really good to also be able to pivot when you need to, right? And like if one of your assumptions isn't quite right, like you change course a little bit. Any other unique ways of kind of thinking about who would be using your app?
Yeah, we had kind of a similar experience. One of our first apps was targeted towards teens and young adults, as well as small authors. So we kind of wanted to find a way to merge those two groups in promoting books from small authors to teens and young adults. And then for that, a big way we did it was again through social media, and then using like kind of searching through what kind of hashtags or what people were searching to get our app to pop up on as many people's pages as possible. As well as then we also reached out to a significant amount of authors and kind of talked to them about what we were working on. And a lot of them were willing to help us kind of both promoting our app as well as us working to help promote their books and incorporate that within our app, which was a really good way for us to find kind of a bigger audience. But yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about you for Enviro? How did you determine who would be the users of your app? How did you research that? Or did you just assume that everybody will want to use it?
Well, the users, the user market is like kind of anybody that cares about microplastics. So
The main focus was like around the people who want to save the environment.
Yeah.
And yeah, like for the people who like cared, like Leah said, and for the people who like wanted to help our environment and make lives better.
Well, awesome. I thank you all for kind of being here and answering all the questions and talking about your experience and for making the world better with your products. I'm really impressed with all of you. We have similar statements coming up in the chat about how awesome you are, and brilliant came up a couple times. So I just love what you're doing, and I'm so excited that you've been a part of this program and that you're planning on continuing to be a part of this program. That said, I'm just going to wrap us up here with a couple more things about kind of our program, but thank you for sharing. Let me get back to this. So let me switch channels here. For everybody that is watching tonight, if you're wondering how you can get involved with our program, there's a few different ways that you can. So we're always looking for volunteers that can work as mentors, working with these teams. You don't have to be super technical to be a good mentor, but you just have to be willing to help and research and bring those other perspectives, the business perspective, the user perspective, design, all sorts of different things go into this program. Another way that you can help is by volunteering as a judge. We have our competition in May, and we need people for that day to kind of sift through the pitches and hear them and score them and help us find our winners. And then, of course, always supporting the program financially. We're always looking for sponsors for events and for the whole season. And then most importantly, encouraging the girls in your network to participate. So any female or non-binary students from ages 8 to 18 can be anywhere in Minnesota. The teams meet pretty flexibly, can be in person or remote or hybrid. Kind of teams decide how they want to meet and how often, and their mentors can help either way. And they don't, like I said, don't have to be super technical to help, just help guide through the curricula. And it's very robust and very user friendly. And you might learn something along the way, right along with the girls. So our registration opens this next season on the 11th of October. So that's coming up pretty quick. But in the meantime, if you want, you can sign up for our newsletter and shoot us emails. We're always around, and we're getting ready for our next season. So thank you all for being here today. And thank you, ladies, for being here and talking about your experience. And I hope you all have a really good evening.
Thank you.
Right.
Well,
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.